need as a wide receiver group, or there is this guy that is really gonna be on fire that they really believe in. So Jeremy Maclin is out there. He's already been to Buffalo, which that's a no-brainer. LaShawn McCoy is there, and Tyrod Taylor would love to have him on the team if he can stay healthy. But here's the question mark. You get him on the team, now you got two guys that more likely is going to be starting in Sammy Watkins and Jeremy Maclin, that the knock on them is if they can stay healthy. So is that really what Tyrod needs? Because he got the running game, but he really doesn't have the passing game that he necessarily needs, on it. But I think, Jeremy Maclin would be a nice pickup there. He's also, he left Buffalo today, and tomorrow I think he is supposed to visit the Ravens. And that could be another nice fit. You pair him with Brashard Perriman, you got Mike Wallace, and you got they got a running back by committee, but Joe Flacco, I mean, he really needs to improve his passing game. This passing, league that we live in is Flacco needs to join in, because at this point, he caught fire when they won, the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to take anything away from Flacco, because a win is a win. You just don't happen to win, the Super Bowl. But that's what they need from him. They need him to evolve and be that guy that can go down the field to challenge other defenses. So getting someone like Maclin who can stretch the field is going to help. It's going to help this team dramatically, so he could be a Raven. I don't know. Decker, Eric Decker is said to be, going to be free of services to the NFL. And here's the thing about Decker, and he knows this even from his days with New York when he left not Buffalo, when he left Denver, when he left the Broncos. He knew that he's not a number one. He's a number two. He's a solid number two. He is, if you put him with a number one, they're trouble. He's 30 years old. That's another problem. Now, some of the teams he's been linked to is Buffalo, but also they've linked him to the Lions and among some other teams, on it. So he's going to be basically like that Mohamed Sanu, a little bit older version, of it. Can he give them anything? I think he can. I wouldn't put too much in it. I still maybe have him as a second or third wide receiver. I know he probably don't want to hear that about being no third receiver because he want to start. But I could see that. For all we know, Eric Decker may end up in New England with the other 16 wide receivers. That's all they doing is just picking up wide receivers and running backs, and I don't know what the process is of that. Just maybe they just saying we don't want anybody to have these guys right away, so they just house them into their on their roster for training camp. But these two guys will find teams, and it'll be real interesting to see what they bring to the table and what they add to a team. Because if you're a team that's just maybe a few players away or a guy making a play, to catapult you, through the playoffs, Jeremy Maclin and Eric Decker are those two guys. So we know about teams out in the forefront, but there are teams behind the scenes, I believe, is who's looking at these two players. Someone said, Victor Morrow said Tyrod Taylor is a bust. So, Victor, wait a minute. How could Tyrod Taylor be a bust when he's been now? Some guys, sit out and all that stuff, but it is what it is. He's been a Pro Bowler twice. So I don't know if you can be a bust being a Pro Bowler. The other thing is, has he really had the full arsenal that he needs? I'm not going to say Tyrod Taylor is not Tom Brady. Tyrod Taylor is not Aaron Rodgers. Tyrod Taylor is not Drew Brees. He's none of those guys. None of those guys. But who is? So what I'm saying is, has Tyrod Taylor actually had a fair shot of being a Victor just said it. Taylor had his chance. Okay, so then Victor, tell me this. Who would back them up? I mean, who is going to step in and replace Tyrod and play better than Tyrod? Because at this point, he's your best player. He's your best quarterback. You're not going to go to Cardale Jones. You're not going to go to any other quarterbacks that you got on your team. So tell me, who do you have as a backup? Who do you have as someone who can step up and tell Tyrod, say, you ain't talking about nothing but the two braids, slide over, let me get in on this, and let me show you how it's done. So give me a name, Victor, if you're going to say he's reached his peak, or what do the Buffalo Bills need to do? Don't say they need to go out there and get a quarterback out of the draft or anything like that. We're talking about right now, right this season. So let me know in the chat if you got an answer, for that. This game, I'm going to give you another update, of the NBA Finals, Game 3. 29-29, still in the first quarter, a little bit over 2 minutes left. Victor Morrow says, nobody, you right, but time to shake it up. Well, here's the thing, Victor, you can't be shaking up nothing that you ain't got to shake. I mean, that's just like shaking up a tree with no leaves. It's just like you didn't shake anything up. So you got to have something. He said, free agent, anybody. Nah, you don't want anybody. Trust me. You don't want anybody, because that's what some of these other teams are picking up. Anybody. And we're not going to get into that. But we're going to move back into the NBA. And this right here, I normally don't talk about this because it's just like, people always talk and say, say stuff, but they can't, replicate it, or they can't, back it up because it was in two different, eras of time. But this right here, I think I will, dive off into it. So everyone always says, how great Golden State is right now, how advanced, or how, this team is just so talented, so super talented, and they're unstoppable. So, of course, this rubs the old school players a little differently. They just like, well, wait a minute. We used the ball too, or whatever. So someone was talking to Magic, and I think he was just answering a question or whatever. But Magic said his Showtime Lakers would beat the Golden State Warriors of this year with KD. And he even went further to say his Showtime Lakers would sweep the Dubs of Golden State. So that got me thinking. I'm like, wow. Let me, is that possible? A sweep? Lopan, do you think, now I'm asking your opinion, do you think, Lopan, that the Showtime Lakers, your Showtime Lakers, that's not your favorite team, but I know you used to hang out with Magic back in the day, but your Showtime Lakers, do you think they would sweep the Dubs? Indeed. Lopan thinks they would sweep the Dubs. All right, I'm not going to give them a sweep, but I would say probably, in 5-6 games. So here's your starting five. Here's the starting five. And Victor already disagreed, saying the Lakers would not beat them. He crazy, and I like Magic, but he losing his mind. But I agree with Magic. Not with the sweep, but they would beat them. Here's your problem. Here's your problem right here. Let's start at point guard. Point guard. We already know Magic playing point guard. 6'9". Steph is the point guard. Now, of course, Steph is not going to play Magic on D. They probably going to switch Clay, on him. But at the same time, you got a problem on there because Magic is big enough. He can back Clay down. So he could play in the post, or he could, drive to the basket, dish off, whatever it is. So that's the problem. I'm gonna go ahead and check one as far as like at the point guard spot. I'm gonna give that to Magic. Then shooting guard. Now, I will give it to Clay, but Byron Scott is an excellent defender. So he would make life tough for Clay. But I'm going to give the check mark at the shooting guard's position to Clay. Now, here's where it really get interesting. Small forward. You got AC Green versus KD. I'm going to go ahead and get at the KD. Because AC, he ain't going to know what's going on with a dude 7 feet, 6'10", or whatever you want, pulling up beyond 3. He ain't going to know what to do with that. So, check mark for Golden State at the small forward position. So, right now, they're leading 2-1. But here's where it gets nasty. And then when I say nasty, I mean nasty. Draymond think he be doing something down in that paint, and he does. But big game James Worthy, that man is like natural strong, just like country strong is what they call it. Big James would take him down there and manhandle him. So check mark goes to the Lakers. So we all tied up. We tied up 2-2. So the last position at center, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, ladies and gentlemen. Kareem versus Zaza. Come on. There's no way Zaza can flop on a skyhook. There's no way Zaza can flop while Kareem grabbing all the rebounds. There's no way Zaza can hold Kareem. Kareem is 267. He was 7 feet, 267. Strong, just as strong as Zaza. The only thing that Zaza could do was headbutt Kareem. So there you go. That's the winning deciding factor right there. Kareem just would Kareem Zaza, you know? So that Lakers would win, but they wouldn't sweep them. I got them 4-2. So I'd say they play six games. And my man Gary G Money Joyner just joined the show. He said the Lakers play under tougher rules. You're absolutely right. I knew someone was going to go to that, Gary. They played under different rules. So the rules would play a factor in that. But here's the thing, though. Magic and the Lakers could get up and down the court just like the Warriors can. So I think they could adapt to that style of play. I don't think the Warriors could adapt to the physical play, because you're going to have to let them play a little bit. And they're going to outmuscle, especially at the center position. They're going to outmuscle the Golden State Warriors, and they're going to get people into foul trouble. So that's my thing. I believe it. That's one team that I think could beat the Golden State Warriors right now, and that is the Showtime Lakers. You may call me old, but yeah, I am old. So people are talking about this game in the chat room, so it must be into the second quarter. I'll give you an update here in just a moment. And then after I give you an update, end of the first just ended, and Golden State looked like they went on. And that's the problem. It's 39-31, end of the first. You can't have Golden State putting up 35, 39, 40 points in a quarter. That's what gets you in trouble. They have to have a bad quarter. You got to get them about 20, 22. I know that's asking a lot, but you got to get them 20 or 22, to give yourself a chance. So Cleveland's going to have to do something, kidnap one of the players or something like that, or turn it around, in this game that we got tonight. But I will keep you up to date. But before we get back to our next topic, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll get back. And I'll just wait to the other side of the break, because someone is trying to improve their game, and Lopan may have to hold me back from going on a rant, So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. We'll come back. I'll try and calm down, and we'll move into the second half of the show. All right? So we'll be back in a little bit.
SME, you're not ready for the number one Chief Rocket Jersey Vern doing his recap show on SME. Listen, ain't nobody out here show can go 3 hours non-stop, no commercial interruptions, anything like that. The Chief Rocket does a 3-hour show with no breaks. To all you other talk shows, you better up your game and get it right, because the Jersey Vern is about to stomp on you, the number one Chief Rocker. Boom, shakalaka, suckers.
Things are heating up in the ATL. Looking for sports talk, guy talk, with the blend of hip-hop culture that turns up? Tune in to Cooking with the Microwave with your host, Jay Fish. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 105 Eastern Standard Time on X Squad, affiliate.com/SME. The club is going up.
Yo, what's good? This is Trey Frazier. Style.